Primetime. Now from Washington, Sam Donaldson.
If you listen carefully, you can almost hear it. The buzz of a roaring party that's going on right now around the world. Millions of people are hopping across miles, age gaps, and social barriers to join in perhaps the biggest gab fest ever. And they're doing it at their computers. As Judd Rose explains, it's a technological revolution that's changing the way we do everything, from making friends to falling in love.
When Jim McElhenney met Ann Kettner, it wasn't love at first sight.
Do you remember the first communication that you had with him?
Yeah, I told him to get lost.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Okay, so you told him to get lost, but clearly things turned around. How did that happen?
Just by talking to him, and he was nice, and he never gave me any of the come-on lines. It was always friendly, and...
No, wait. You're telling me that guys use pickup lines on a computer?
Mm-hmm.
That's right, on a computer bulletin board, where by exchanging electronic messages, Jim and Ann got acquainted and fell for each other before they'd ever even seen each other. This wasn't love at first sight, it was love at no sight.
This is really pretty bizarre, isn't it?
If you don't know anything about computers, it's very bizarre.
Even more bizarre than you think. Jim and Ann met on a board based in California, and only later found out that they were neighbors, living in the same town in Delaware.
I didn't realize I could almost throw a stone and hit her house. I mean, that's the amazing part.
Actually, it's all pretty amazing and confusing if you're one of those who can't tell a disk drive from a motherboard. There are about 92,000 bulletin boards around the world, many of them linked by a huge computer network called the Internet. During international crises like the Tiananmen uprising in 1989 and the failed Russian coup 2 years later, bulletin boards were a vital source of information since they were nearly impossible to censor. Today in Croatia, where the government controls all the major media, one of the only sources of unfiltered news is Kat. Kat, a Dutch peace worker, writes Zagreb Diary, daily reports on life in the war zone to bulletin boards around the world. It's dangerous duty. Once a bullet went straight through his computer. But Kat says it's worth it. His readers on the net depend on him.
So last December I went to Herzegovina and I had no telephone connections there, and so I couldn't send it. And then in that week people started to call from all over the world. Where the heck was I?
More recently, bulletin boards were used in the search for Polly Klaas, the girl kidnapped from her home in Petaluma, California. Posters with her picture were sent out in 9 languages to BBS users around the world. That's an audience of millions, especially when you consider that in some places, you don't even have to have a computer of your own to get access to a board. In San Francisco, all you have to do is go to one of 20 Bay Area cafes where SFnet has set up computer terminals. Hundreds of regulars pay to join in the chatter. 4 minutes for 25 cents.
It's addictive. There were times that I would spend $10 in quarters a day. And that's a lot of money. And it's so fun to talk to people without those judgments.
The Horseshoe Cafe caters to the tie-dyed teens of the Haight-Ashbury district. Amber Klasura, cat-eye to her pals on the net, spends her free time communicating with, among others, white-collar professionals across town at the Jammin' Java.
I would have never have met my best friends if it wasn't for net, simply because they're they're business, one is a businessman in the financial district, and I don't hang out in the financial district, I'm a student, I hang in the Haight Street.